All right, let's talk about something that is blowing up everywhere right now. From our social media feeds to the biggest news headlines, we're diving into the massive, messy, and totally fascinating collision between artificial intelligence and human creativity. Can a machine really create art, or is something essential, something human, being lost? This is a big one. Let's get into it.
Okay, so to kick things off, I've got a little challenge for you. I'm going to read you a quick poem, and you tell me what you think. Here it is. In silent code, a world takes flight, where ones and zeros dream of light. A whispered verse, a painted scene, born from the heart of a machine. So, what's your gut feeling? Human or AI?
And the answer is, it was written by ChatGPT. Yeah, if you had trouble telling, you are definitely not alone. The line between what a person can create and what a machine can create is getting incredibly blurry, incredibly fast. And that's forcing all of us to ask some pretty fundamental questions.
So first up, the creative explosion. It really does feel like this all happened overnight, doesn't it? One minute AI art was kind of this quirky, niche thing. The next, it's absolutely everywhere. So how did we get here so fast? What's the tech that's lighting this fuse?
Well, the engine behind all of this is something called generative AI. Now, the key word there is generative. This isn't just an AI that analyzes data. It's an AI that actually makes stuff. It learns by sifting through just unimaginable amounts of human-created text, images, and music. It picks up on patterns, on style, on everything, and then it uses that knowledge to create something brand new.
And the pace of this whole thing is just staggering. I mean, look at this. In March of 2025, OpenAI drops a model that's great at creative writing. Just a few months later, you've got a superstar producer like Timbaland launching a label for AI artists. And by the end of the year, a study comes out saying that when people don't know who the author is, they actually prefer poems written by AI. This isn't a what-if scenario anymore. This is happening right now.
Which brings us to Section 2, Ghost in the Machine. This is where we get into the really deep, philosophical stuff. Can a piece of code, something with no life, no memories, no heartbreak, can it actually create art?
So one side of the argument, summed up nicely here by David Brooks, is basically no way. The idea is that real art has to come from real lived human experience. It's that spark, that messy, unpredictable emotional core that a machine just can't fake. But then you look at the actual data, and it gets a little more complicated. Remember that study? When people were just judging the work on its own merits, without knowing the source, the AI came out on top. It really makes you wonder, if a piece of art connects with you, if it makes you feel something, does it actually matter where it came from?
This is really the ultimate Turing test, but for creativity. Alan Turing's original idea was about whether a machine could fool you in a conversation. Now the test is, can a machine create a song that makes you cry, or a painting that takes your breath away? And it seems like we're getting awfully close to the answer being yes. Okay, so let's move from the philosophical to the legal. Section 3, a million stolen canvases. Because while some people are debating the soul of AI art, a whole lot of human artists are yelling about something much more concrete, theft. They're saying these AIs are built on the back of their copyrighted work, all scooped up without permission or payment. And this backlash is serious. We're not talking about a handful of lawsuits. We're talking about huge players. The New York Times, Getty Images, tons of famous authors. They're all lining up to sue these AI companies. Their argument is simple. You can't just scrape the entire internet for our work, use it to build your billion-dollar product, and call it fair use. They call it plagiarism on an industrial scale.
And this quote from historian Yuval Noah Harari really gets to the heart of that argument. He's saying that some things, like the right to create and to speak freely, are fundamentally human. In this view, an AI isn't an artist. It's an incredibly sophisticated mimic, a tool built on a foundation of data that, many argue, was stolen.
And that brings us to our fourth section, the human cost. Because for millions of writers, designers, musicians, and artists, this isn't an abstract legal fight. It's about their jobs. It's about their ability to make a living. And the fear that AI is coming to replace them is very, very real.
And this isn't just paranoia. The numbers are pretty stark. A survey in 2025 found that 41% of companies, that's nearly half, were already making plans to downsize their human staff and use AI instead. This isn't just one industry. This is a potential tidal wave across the entire creative economy. What's really wild is that even the tech world is completely divided on what the future should look like.
On one hand, you have folks like Reid Hoffman saying AI will be a tool for augmentation. It'll be like a superpowered co-pilot that makes us better at our jobs. But then you have other startups that are pretty blunt about their goal, replacement. They want full automation, and they want it now. Those are two radically different paths forward.
So, where does this all leave us? Let's look forward in our final section. Art's new dawn? Is this the moment human creativity gets sidelined for good? Or are we on the verge of a totally new, completely transformed artistic renaissance?
Well, the truth is, the world is already changing. We're seeing whole new genres of music like A-pop being born. Huge institutions like the Oscars are scrambling to figure out new rules to deal with AI in movies. And it's bleeding out of the art world too. AI is being used in courtrooms, to write legal exams. It's weaving itself into the fabric of our society in ways we're just beginning to understand.
I want to leave you with this quote from the novelist Kazuo Ishiguro because it's such a brain melter. He's being really honest here. He says his job, the thing he won a Nobel Prize for, is basically to manipulate emotions with words, to make people cry. So if art is essentially a technology for generating emotion and an AI gets good enough to do it, what exactly is the difference? What are we really valuing? Is it the process or just the result?
And that's really the question we're all left with. Is AI just the next big tool for artists, like the invention of the camera or the synthesizer, a new paintbrush that will unlock incredible new forms of expression? Or is this something different, something that makes the artists themselves obsolete? Honestly, nobody knows for sure, and this conversation is only just getting started.